Hello, friends. Chris Coursey here, and I want to welcome you to episode 1 of the new Thrive Today podcast, Relational Skills in Real Life. This is an exciting adventure right here, friends, and I'm glad you're here. So I'm the co-founder of Thrive Today and the president of Thrive Today, and I'm also the host of your podcast here. So I'm looking forward to our time and just pray that this is a meaningful experience for you. So really the goal of this podcast is very simple: to share real life relatable stories of how people can use relational skills in their everyday lives. So we want to share these stories of how it looks like to live relationally using these important relational skills. And today my focus is really a little bit about myself. And so the goal is to help you learn a little bit about Jen and I and Thrive Today and why we do what we do. And so today I'm going to share a little bit about myself and how I got here and why am I training relational skills, and really to help share why relational skills have changed my life. And so I grew up in the church. I grew up going to church as a boy. I learned that God was real. I learned that his word was true, but there were some things that was missing. And so one of the things that was missing is I didn't have a lot of examples of other Christ followers. So I wasn't really connected with other children my age to really, be on this journey together and figure it out. And so I didn't have a lot of examples, and I didn't have a lot of joy or peace. So joy was very low. And this would impact why I drifted and how I got to drift away from shore. And so I didn't have joy and peace. I really didn't have the skills to get back to joy from my upsets. And so fear kind of ran my life. Fear ran the show for me. And honestly, I just didn't see Jesus as a relational resource. So I viewed God, even interpreted his word through this lens that God is a non-relational, angry God. And so he's going to blast you the moment you do something wrong. And so as a teenager, I started to see that my friends who weren't going to church were having all the fun. And I thought, why am I going to church, trying to get close to an angry God who's not going to be happy with me anyway, when I see my friends having all the fun and they're not going to church? So I drifted. I started to drift out to sea, farther and farther away from shore. And that was just not a good plan, my friends. And so what happened was I was finding other ways to find some meaning and purpose in my life. So I started partying as I was a teenager going into college. I was partying. I was just not following God in any way, shape, or form. I was trying to find my purpose and meaning apart from God. And in the Bible, there's times where God's people do what was right in their own eyes. It doesn't end well. And so by the time I got into college, I was completely just engrossed in a wild, self-destructive path with the partying scene. And I eventually got 2 DUIs within a year. That right there, my friends, is what you call a bad idea. You don't want to do that. And so my world came crashing down. I just was angry with God for whatever reasons. I was still blaming God for my misery. Lost my driver's license and just really had no meaning. I just felt like my life was over. And I can remember when my friends were actually bailing me out of jail that after that second DUI, and I was just furious, enraged, hopeless, feeling all kinds of big feelings. And I looked up to the sky that moment in the parking lot with several friends standing there. And I looked up and I said, God, what do you want from me? Why are you doing this to me? Right now, my friends probably thought I was crazy, but I knew that somehow God is at work here, and actually just, again, thought he was an angry, dismissive God. But when I did that, what happened was in my mind, I saw an image of Jesus standing there, kind of standing there with his arms outstretched. And it was like a nonverbal image. I just had the sense of Jesus saying, look, like the look on his face was compassion. And I felt like he was saying, Chris, why are you running from me? Why are you fighting for me? Why are you fighting me? All I want is to be close to you. And that surprised me, because that's not that angry, vengeful God that I was expecting. This was a tender, merciful, kind shepherd who actually wanted to help me. So I did a summer internship And during this internship with a Christian ministry, God met me in this internship. So I saw people who loved Jesus, who could stay relational, right? Who had some joy and some peace, who knew how to recover when things went wrong. They also knew how to live an interactive relationship with the living God. So what I now call an Emmanuel lifestyle. And having this experience completely changed my life. That summer in 97, I read a manuscript of a book called Living from the Heart Jesus Gave You, and eventually met one of its authors, Dr. Jim Wilder. And I started learning about joy and how God created our brain to run on the fuel of joy. And friends, my life was never the same. I actually went back to college after that internship, carrying around a Bible, telling everybody about Jesus, not wanting to party anymore. It completely changed my life. So I graduated, I joined the ministry, and here I am all these years later, 26 years later, following Jesus and training relational skills. And see, so what I had was a lot of missing relational skills. I needed examples. I needed some modeling. I needed other people who had some skills and some maturity to really show me, how do you follow Jesus and stay relational? How do you live with that awareness of God's peace and presence in your life? How do you recover from upsetting emotions? All these skills that I was missing back then, I started to slowly learn. And so this completely just upended my life. And I eventually became a pastor, and now I'm a relational skills trainer, creating resources to help people learn the skills that I was missing. And so, friends, this is a fascinating journey. I'm looking forward to more opportunities to share my story and for you to hear other stories. We'll have 2 more introductory episodes here. And on future podcasts, we're going to share one story that illustrates a specific relational skill in real life, followed by reflections on what we can learn from these stories that we hear. So you might be asking, hey, where do I go to get more? So to learn more, keep listening and join me for episode number 2. There's going to be more good stuff coming. You can like and subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss out any future episodes. But friends, I'm just glad you're here. And it's my hope that you'll find encouragement and hope by the Relational Skills in Real Life podcast.